We're gonna start with spread betting. Spread betting. So when you place a bet and you see, so let's do the Super Bowl for example. The Chiefs was -3 up to -3.5. That's some sports books. Buccaneers was +3. Now all that means is the favorite is minus at all times. -3. So that means the Chiefs were the favorite at -3. Buccaneers were the underdog. Meaning, if you take that +3, they only have to lose by 3 or less. If they lose by 3 or more, you lose the bet. But if they only lose by 3 or less and win outright, you win the bet. Now, if they lose by 3 exactly, that's called a push. Say it with me, y'all. Push. You really don't want to push because all that is just winning your money back from what you put on that bet. That's why I really don't like spreads, honestly, like that. But that's not for me to say what you would like. If you like the spreads, that's the safety in betting. Take the spreads. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't take spreads. Of course I take spreads. Take spreads all the time. That's my safety valve when I'm gambling every day. I have underdogs that are probably going to cover the spread. Like in college basketball, for example, you may see a spread as big as +30 for some teams. 30 points is a lot to cover in any league. I don't care who they are. Even the NBA don't usually have spreads that high. But sometimes in college, it works different. I wouldn't take no big spreads like that. I wouldn't take no big spread like that, especially in college sports. So, with that being said, now that we got the plus and the minuses out the way, let's get some of the lingo out the way. Now, even. If you see a game where both teams on the spread, it says even. That means there is no spread. They don't know who's going to win. This is a 50-50 game. The only way that game or spread changes is if someone or the public, that's us, the people that influence the betting, the people that make the bets every day, that is if we put a lot more action on one more side than the other. Then that may change. But in most situations, if it starts even, it's usually because no one really knows anything about this game or who is really going to win. It's a 50-50 shot on either side, really. But just whatever side you choose, there wouldn't be much value in those games because it's even. Everything is just, you put 10 down, you win 10 back. Not much value in that. So, me, personally, I'm a risky gambler, so I take a lot of money lines. Now, money lines are just straight to win bets. All they got to do is win. That's all you need. I like taking underdog money lines, especially in NBA, because in NBA, you can catch guys in terms of what the young kids are saying, lacking. You can catch them lacking. Say it's a back-to-back. They played overtime the first night. It's a road team, or even the home team. They played an overtime game. It was a physical game, you know. Everyone played, all the starters played over their usual minutes. You're going to look to probably get them some rest. You're going to look in the next game, all right, let's not try to do as much. If we don't get out to a big lead in the first quarter, or if they out to a big lead, let's just try to take it slow, work our way back into the game. That's what they'll do in NBA games a lot. Unless it's the end of the season and people need wins. In the beginning of the season, you can catch a lot of sweet money lines. Like the Knicks were the Knicks were history of last year, of how bad they were. People took that into this year. So they weren't favored in none of their games early this season. So I took a lot of Knicks money line because I felt like they could win. Because the money lines were like +300, +220, all types of numbers. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a risk because it's still the Knicks. But I expected them to be a little better. You know, I like the rookies that they drafted. Emmanuel Quickly, showing what he could be. I like that kid. That's another conversation we need to have. We need to talk about the Knicks for real. You remember that. Write that down. But that's an example of money lines that I like. There are money lines where If it's under minus 200, I usually like taking those minus 200 games. But if it's over 200, I'll just try to parlay those. Like, say Duke is playing Austin Peay or some school like that. They're probably going to be favored by minus 340 or minus 300. I wouldn't take a money line straight bet. There's no value in that. You got to put a lot of money down to win a little bit of money back. There's no worth in that or value. So that's the gist of gambling in a way. You just got to find the value in things. Find the spreads that you like. Find the plus spreads. Because even if they lose, as long as they don't lose by that number, you're safe. And I also like half spreads, like if it's 7.5 or 6.5, because guess what? Now they're in between that range of they have to lose by 7 or they have to if they lose by 7, that's it. You lose the bet. If it's 6.5, so say it's 6.5, they lose by 7. That's it. You lose the bet, you know what that number is. But at 6, you're still there. You still got a chance because guess what? The spread is 6.5. So look for games with that half point of a spread. That can make a difference. I've won a lot of spreads with that half point simply because they covered the 6.5. They didn't lose by 7, but they lost by 6. So you still win your money. There's no push. There's no confusion of that. Try to look for that half point in anything that you bet. And also wait for lines. Wait for a line to get to where you feel comfortable betting it. Don't bet a line just because it's early and you think, oh yeah, they're gonna be healthy or whatever the case may be. Whatever you wait. Just wait a second until you possibly can get the best line. Now, sometimes you may get the best line early. That first line may be the best line. Say the sports books make mistakes sometimes too, and they'll have an underdog that really isn't an underdog. Say you get it at +2, +2.5. Take that +2.5 early if you know that people are gonna go to the other side. If you know the public is on the other side, take that early. Take what you like early if they're underdogs. And put a little bit on the money line always because you just never know. Because if they win that game, now you doubled your money. Majority of your money on single bets, straight bets, should be on the spread. They're always -110 or lower. Always have money on the spreads. Even if it's favorites, always have money on the spreads. Even money, you're always gonna win. A good amount back. Say you put 100 down, you win 195 back. So when I say that too, then people get that confused. The payout system. So if I put in $90, and when you look to the right, it says to win 190. That means you're winning your $90 back plus an extra $100. So is everyone following me?